On the cloud that we talked about
No,
on
no,
the
now I started the recording now. Now I remember know why last time we messed up. This app also like tries to do the recording, but it's just a meeting note recording. And then I thought that recording has already started, but now I started recording on my end.
Yeah, and it says recording on mine too, so I think we're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, now I'm recording on the cloud, so even if machine dies, no problem. It's recording on Zoom cloud. It's just like minor things that kind of confusing. We are letting everyone in it already. It's almost time, so what mentors we're still waiting on a couple of mentors to
We have
join.
so many AI reading notes, meeting notes.
Yes.
I hope we get them this time.
Yeah.
So much for technology, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, let's admit everyone. Hi, Victor.
Hello.
Hey. You'll be presenting today, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still waiting on a couple of mentors. It's not joined yet. Vishal. What was that?
Hey everyone,
Nice, Neha.
I have a teammate today.
I see you have a little helper with you. Hi.
Tisha, you want to sit down?
Let's
Aditya, can you make me co-host?
Yeah, you are already. I did already. So,
Okay, thanks.
yeah.
Hi, Arkai. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing much better now.
Hey, Irvi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Hi, Christina.
Great to be here.
Hey, thanks for making it. Did you know?
Yeah. Avi is still not here. We can get started though, right? We can.
Yeah.
Mentors Vishal is also here.
Okay. Can you make yeah, okay. So mentors have co-host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making Vishal co-host, and then yeah, everyone is here already. Only Aviv is not here, but I think that's okay. Victor,
Let's-
Iravi is
Okay.
here, and Christina is here. Yeah, Iravi, you are presenting, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and Christina is also presenting. Yeah, so I think we can get started because it's already a couple of minutes. So welcome everyone. I guess most of us are here already. Today is the second session, and today we will be talking about the customer development. We have 4 presentations from 4 mentors. I would let mentors introduce themselves, so we can start like alphabetically maybe. Arkoi, you want to go first?
Sure. So, hey everyone, really great to see you all. I'm Arkai Oswara. I'm a global fractional chief brand officer. I work with various VCs, LPs, and founders across the globe, and I mainly specialize in helping founders get to 100 million ARR. The way we do that is by creating brand ecosystems, which is creating a core strategy that is going to act as an umbrella about every aspect of your business, making sure that the products you build, the marketing, the operations, and even the users you market and develop this for is all in alignment and we're scaling towards a clearer direction. And with FI, I'm a global mentor. I mentor 35 different FIs, and I'm really excited to be here. Customer development is essential for most businesses in today's market, but always in general as well, because if you're building with a validated market, you're having less of a customer friction and you're able to scale much more seamlessly. So really excited for today's session, and please feel free to book officers where I can help you in any way I can.
Thanks, Arkai. So Aviv is going to come in late. He just messaged. Christina, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. I'm Christina Trampota, and my company is Innovate, Grow, Scale, and it addresses companies at those different phases. So I work with a variety of clients from the phase of innovating and building at 0 to 1, coming up with that initial concept, which aligns very closely with tonight's session, to when they're actually trying to grow, expand, find new markets, new customers, and of course, scaling. So I've had a variety of experiences from teeny tiny companies, working on my own, working with many to really big multinational companies and platforms. So great to be here. Who shall we pass it to next?
Irvi.
Hi, thanks, Neha. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm in Cupertino, so I'm in PST. I can see a lot of faces on the wall, so folks must be from different parts of the world, I suppose. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Iravi. The reason probably why I'm here is that I was part of 2 failed startups and 1 successful exit. So, and it's actually quite related to customer dev because the first startup was failed in the validation process. First startup failed in the idea conception phase itself, and the second ran out of funds, and the third we could scale to 25 million and sell to a private equity fund. I was also part of a company where I started off when it was $100 million, and when I exited the company in 2019, it was $12 billion in revenue. So have had a lot of experience working primarily in enterprise B2B tech, right? Working with large enterprise, medium scale companies, whatnot, but across the world, in markets across the world, US, Europe, and Asia. So looking forward to the evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Iravi. So Iravi is from the same university as me, and I've known him. So we are really glad to have you, Iravi, and I'm glad you can share your wins and losses with everyone. Victor.
Yes. Hello, I'm Victor Chapela. More of a serial entrepreneur. I've started 7 businesses with this one. I've had 3 exits successfully, and I've had mostly B2B companies, but also been involved in consumer. And actually, this last one is pretty much B2B2C or B2C. So I'll be talking about all the different ways in which we've built products and proven them, and how that can help you in the creation of your own businesses. So happy to meet you all.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then we have a repeat mentor. Vishal, I thought I saw you.
I'm here.
Okay. So Vishal, everyone knows Vishal. So in the interest of time,
No
I'm going,
introduction.
yes. I hope that's okay, Vishal.
It's okay.
All right.
Nice to be seen. Hello all.
Hey.
So let's quickly get started. Aditya, could you run the presentations and I can take care of the working groups?
Yeah. So we can start with Victor.
Okay.
So today we have like 4 presenters. So we'll plan like around 10 minutes for the presentation, and then few minutes for Q&A, question answers, and then we'll go through. After 4 presentations are over, then we'll do the breakout room and where founders will pitch, and we'll do the evaluation today. So yeah, Victor, go ahead.
Sure. So
Oh, I gave you access to share your screen, Victor. You should be able to do that. We are recording, okay. So while Victor is sharing his screen, founders, a lot of you are not doing assignments. If you don't do assignments and you fall back, we are going to drop you off. So make sure that you are taking care of your assignments. We are going to go in and review them, give feedback. So this is like an absolute necessary thing for you to graduate.
okay, so basically just minimize this. The idea of what I'll be talking about is, how do you think of customer development? I think this is probably one of the most crucial, if not the most crucial part of getting your startup to grow healthy. I'll be using part of the lean startup methodology, but really, and you can search that up. I think that there's a lot of value in being very specific around some of these things. So, but most importantly, I think that the one thing that we have to think of is that we are making experiments. So the way we have to think about our product is we have to minimize uncertainty. So when we start a business, it's 100% uncertainty, that we don't know what's going to happen, if people will like what we do. And sometimes we believe they will like what we do, but the real way of actually moving forward is by testing these assumptions. And what you want to do is reduce those assumptions as quickly as possible. So these experiments have to be thought of. You're building a machine to experiment. That is your first machine. It's not the product itself. It's a self-replicating machine that will allow you to go through iterations. So these iterations are, you have these ideas, you build the idea, then you move to making that into a product. You measure your assumptions. Like if your assumption was that this initial, let's say the initial thing you build is a landing page, and that represents what the product would be, and then you measure how many people convert. That gives you data, you learn from that, and then you go back to ideas. Now, the concept of calling it experiments goes beyond just this idea of a sequence. It has to do with, we fall in love with our ideas. And if we're building them and whoever's building them, we fall in love with the product we built. However, we may have to throw it away and start with a different product, with a different way of doing it, as soon as this touches the individuals and we measure with real customers. So this cycle has to do, and calling it experimentation allows us to not be in love with the product and more in love with the learning. So we experiment. If the experiment goes bad, we change it, but we are not identified with the actual thing we're doing. So from that point of view, the main things we want to do with this cycle is identify our key assumptions and hypotheses. What do we believe that we are, what we will learn? What do we believe that, like, if we put these products in this landing page, how will that be understood by others? How will that be used? How much our conversion rate will be? Or how would the product be used? Or how, will they click or not? And we challenge these assumptions with real customers. And I think that that is a very important part of this. We cannot really negate our own hypothesis on our own. We have to run an experiment, and that experiment has to touch other people who are not biased as we are. And we have to avoid this confirmation bias. We don't have to just say, hey, would you use this? And it's your friend, and they'll say yes. It's actually, you have to go against that by asking negative questions. Why would you not use this? Or what is in this would you change? Or how would this not be a solution for you? And so basically the questions you ask are in a fundamental piece of learning. And so you want to like different user interview questions, or like everything from what's the problem. And then frequency and impact, this has to do with how frequent the problem is and how much impact does it have. Because you're trying to solve frequently high impact problems. If it's something that doesn't happen very often, if that's a problem that doesn't have any impact if it happens, then you're really not solving a fundamental problem with which you can build a business. And then you have this idea of channels. Have you looked for other solutions? And what did your competition is? What solutions have you tried? Or what worked? What didn't? What is missing? So you're trying to figure out from your customers, what are those things that would help you unearth these fundamental problems. And this is important because sometimes you will find a specific problem that will drive your whole company, that will allow you to build something quite unique. So building your customer archetype has to do with understanding what is the type of problems people are trying to solve, and how do you cluster them into those problems will be pain points, and how do you cluster them into the demographics, behaviors, motivations. So for instance, we've done that by taking not only, now you can record, we used to write it all down in Google Docs and then define group and then go back and define what were the pain points, what were the demographics, and try to cluster them into archetypes. You can now do a lot of that by just recording these calls and then having that information, using an LLM to extract that information and create these for you. However, you still have to ask the right questions, understand who the person is, what are the behaviors that you are trying to help them with, what are the motivations to change those behaviors or to do what you want to do, and what are the pain points. So testing that also includes testing your pricing and revenue models. What price would be too cheap? What would even making you question the quality, and what price would be too expensive for you? So I want to give you an example of all this in terms of questions, because you can do this one-on-one. You can also do it by, and I'll show you one that we did a long time ago. This is like probably 4 years ago. Hold on, let me share a different screen. And this is a questionnaire, a quiz that we put on a landing page. So we sent people to a landing page. We got, in this case, 452. We were doing an app for, it was going to be called Younger You, which is still around. It was in my previous company. And we were helping them. This was a longevity questionnaire. And you can see here, we were asking them, and this was for being in the wait list. So if they answered this, they were in the wait list. If they answered it, they would go up in the wait list. So a lot of people, 452, answered it. And so they would, what are the 3 top things they wanted to do to achieve younger health? Which did they believe, sorry, what's this? What will help you be most successful, and then which ones would you pay for? And you'll see that people think some things will make them successful, whereas they wouldn't like to pay. So let's go to responses so that you can see what I'm talking about. So in the responses, where is I need to questions. So no, I'm getting confused here. They changed this around. This is not what I wanted to show. Oh, well, I'll go to the sheets. Yeah. So here, what I have is all these answers. And so basically, there's 2 things we did. We understood out of the things, for instance, here, reduce my biological age. And you can see here very clearly that these are the top things that people wanted to do: reduce their biological age, increase health span, optimize their genetic destiny. But things like increase life vitality or experience less pain, these things were very, very low. So it's interesting to see what people really are after. But then we went one step further, and which things do they think would be help them accomplish this? Epigenetic biological tests, supplements, etc. And then we asked them, what would you pay for? And it's interesting to figure out that prepared food and even meal planning and shopping lists, they would not pay for it, even though they did say personal coaching and things or meal planning was high in their list, they wouldn't be willing to pay for. So there are things that, because they're already out there for free, people don't believe they won't pay for something they can get elsewhere. And then this one to the right had to do with the questions of pricing. So we asked what would be prohibitively expensive or acceptable, etc. And we match these numbers in terms of their responses. And you can find here what are the ranges of price that they're willing to pay. This is for the digital version. The ranges of price they would be willing to pay for the one that has that had in this case supplements and the lab tests included, and we could see, based on the number of people who thought it was expensive but still worth it, and the people who thought it was acceptable, etc., how did we end up with the highest, where we would convert the most? Out of these people, how many would we convert? Out of the 2,200 people that we had signed up for the wait list, how would they convert into money? So with that, we not only knew the price, we also asked them to give us, how would they describe our program? So, or what would how would they describe this to a friend of theirs? Give yourself the best possible chance of aging gracefully and healthily, optimizing my environment to help my genes thrive and prevent illness. So it's very interesting that you don't need a copywriter after this. You have the best information of how people, what the value for them is, and which words they use to define that which they're buying into. And for instance, lifestyle, you wouldn't even think about lifestyle when you're talking about longevity with epigenetics, and it's one of the main, and a program, lifestyle program. That's basically what people were looking at, biological age, etc. So, but this is counterintuitive in terms of what you're doing. So that's how you learn from this. And that's what you're trying to do when I say test pricing, is you are You can do that with a quiz. If you have enough people and you're going direct to consumer, you can do it with one-on-one calls where you ask them things. And basically those questions will help you figure out what people want and what is it that is best for each. Then you have, you want to seek early commitments. So early commitments is fundamental because it's how much a lot of people will click through if you're advertising. Some people will take your calls. If you have a good introductory email or a LinkedIn connection, but you want to move them to action. You want to, even if before you have a product, you want to have letters of intent, pre-orders, wait lists. In my latest business,
We are almost at time already, so you want to
okay,
wrap up in a minute or something.
Okay, so you want to have as much of this information as possible. You want to leverage communities, find who you can talk with through different communities, and it's very easy to get Reddit. Learn from competitors. What are their common pain points? Like you can find what other people that are doing similar things. And you don't need a product to test assumptions. Zappos started with a landing page without any shoes, and he would go buy the shoes and ship them. Robinhood had a wait list and had a very successful wait list. Videos, you've seen this video of a demo, and they raised 175 million at $2 billion valuation with a demo. So leveraging existing tools to do your MVP, you can use no code. There's a lot of AI, there's a lot of APIs, and do things that don't scale. There's the DoorDash team started by them delivering food here in Palo Alto. So you can do things like that and focus on a single standout feature. Instagram actually took off when they eliminated features, not when they added, when they eliminated all the features and just allowed people to share their pictures. So launch in a niche. Uber started in San Francisco, Tinder standard started at college, DoorDash standard started in Palo Alto. So you don't need to go broad, you have to focus. And something that Rahul Vohra talks about is build a minimum lovable product, not a minimum viable product. It's what will people actually use and not just tolerate. So that is what I think that you're going after. And he also talked to, you can see his video online, and basically the product market fit score is how would you feel if you could no longer use this product? Very disappointed. So if 40% of people say very disappointed, you basically have a product market fit. So that's a very good way to optimize. I do invite you to see that video. I think it's recent, and I think it's in first round, if I'm not mistaken. First round has a great amount of good information for founders. Also, NFX is the other one I like, but that's more for network effects. But first round, without a doubt, go look at there, and one of them is Rahul. Okay, so I'll stop there.
Awesome. I
Thank
can
you.
take one question. So it's from Diana. Like, is it
Mhm.
possible to get feedback on our questionnaire so you have more precise data like yours? And would you be open to share this template?
Yeah, I can. I think I can share the questions I used. Yes, the template itself, as you could see, we then mined it. There's different ways of doing it, but we did all but the questions, yes, and we've continued. That one was a very good one when we did it, and we continued to iterate, and a lot of different apps, a lot of different companies have used variations of that questionnaire that I showed you. So yes, I can. I think that what we can do is, if you want to send me a email, I'll just put my email here, and I'll just send you a list of the questions, I think, or even, yeah, I'll figure out how to share some of that without sharing private information.
All right, we can move to Iravi. Want to?
Let me try to share my screen.
Yeah.
That was a great presentation, Victor. I learned quite a bit. And I changed one something in my presentation from MVP to MLP based on what I learned from you.
Yeah, I like that as well because it changes the whole perspective from let's do something that's the minimum thing, because then it's features. Minimum lovable product makes you focus on benefits.
Yeah.
That's true. Actually, I tend to agree that it is actually a usable product where the customer MVP has a connotation of it not being so, right? It's probably version 1 is probably the way to put it. And that is how customers will engage with it, right? Especially in the enterprise B2B tech space. I think the consumer tech space, one can argue probably there is a space for MVP. As you said, one trick pony, you can start with a one trick pony and then iterate your way through it. But in enterprise B2B tech especially, I think your point about minimum lovable product is quite valid, right? So I've taken this as a more point of reflection from my perspective, from my journey perspective. As I've initially in the introduction told you, I did have a failure initially, and then had a journey through my career where we found progressive success. I think the success happened when I became conscious about customer development, right? Not just me, of course, the teams that we all work together in, right? When we became conscious about customer development is when we sort of like had quite a bit of, at least we knew why we were failing, and we were able to iterate our way through it to make it better, right? And find more and more success as time went by, right? I hopefully I'm not confusing you folks. That's not the idea. I know you're part of the cohort and you're probably listening to a lot of ideas and concepts. So I've kept it practical from my perspective while following the standard terminology that is used in customer development. So these are the questions, the key questions that I have tended to ask, the teams that I work with have tended to ask, and especially in the context of enterprise B2B tech, right? The discovery process is what pains, I mean, forget the grammar part of it. I didn't mind grammar because, I wanted you to get the message. So what pains, who it pains, why it pains, how it solves. Is it now? What is the value, right? Now, these are very important. Each of them matters. What pains means what are the problems that are worth solving? Who does it matter to? Who does these problems matter to, right? Why does it matter, right? Is it really an important problem? Victor spoke about frequency. That is one measure of importance. There might be other impact and whatnot, right? Then how it solves, having a hypothesis at least about how it solves, right? What might potential ways of solving it, either using people, technology, process, mix of all of those things, nowadays AI. Is it now? Now, this is a very important question. This is something that I've learned the hard way, and there are enough examples out there in the industry about the timing part of it, right? I mean, the metaverse thing is a great example standing right in front of us where the idea is amazing, but the timing is the problem, right? Because the different pieces of the puzzle have to come together. You solving one part of the puzzle just doesn't give you an ability to deliver value to an end customer, right? So timing is super important. So you might find great answers to a lot of questions. You should also ask the question, is it now? Because, is the market ready for it, right? Are you able to solve it in a practical fashion? Then what is the value? What's the economic impact? Ultimately, you're solving problems because you're creating a business. So what is the economic impact? What's the value of this, right? And that's what leads to a total addressable market, service addressable market, and so on at a macro level, right? So those are the questions that when I did the reflection, came to my mind. Then we move on to customer validation. Now that you have an initial picture, you have to spend time with customers. Now, surveys are definitely one great way of doing it. In enterprise B2B tech, I do encourage you to go meet people, right? Go meet customers. It's not difficult, right? You can get to people very easily, especially if you've answered the questions in the customer discovery phase and you've got a conceptware with you. It's relatively easy to get to talk to potential customers. They are 1 or 2 degrees away in your network. And more importantly, you might be able to talk to partners who are proxy for end customers, who might have a wide, rich knowledge base in their industry. And the interesting part about this customer validation is that it's all the questions in customer discovery, but now you add the you part to it. What pains you? Why it pains you? How it solves for you? Is it now for you? What is the value for you? And will you help me co-design, right? In enterprise B2B tech, I think the important thing is that the sign of kind of like commitment to the cause is that will you help me co-design this product, right? I have a hypothesis, I have a spec, but I really want to work with you. And as we heard, probably sometimes your hypothesis can get invalidated and you get a whole bunch of new ideas. And so you need that design partnership. And ideally, I would say 3 to 5 design partners with some diversity in it, right? Because the idea is that you are able to solve across a diverse set of customers. So having 3 to 5 design partners will be great as part of the process. It's very doable. I mean, till I hit upon this design partner idea, I wouldn't have thought about it. Once I hit upon the design partner idea, now we only develop products using the design partner model, right? Because it really saves time and you have commitment from the initial set of customers to buy the product. Then it comes to the creation part of it, right? Now you have to make it a business. So that is where you have to answer questions beyond the design phase in terms of who is the customer, who is the persona, what is repeatable. Now, this is a very important thing. The bane of the design partner model is that you can end up creating products for specific customers, but then you have to really address the question of repeatability and to stay disciplined in terms of what is a common denominator and what is repeatable. Then how to reach those customers? What's the distribution model, right? Is it online, digital, PLG, SLG, whatnot? How to service, right? How to deliver that service? Is it just open and use, or is there an implementation to it? If there is, then what's a way to ensure the implementation is frictionless, right? Then how to persuade, how to price, right? Those are the important questions. You got some great insights from Victor on those topics, right? Now, so that means from customer discovery is hypothesis to thesis. You probably start with some dream and ideas and concepts and things that you thought through by synthesizing a lot of things. You have to get to a thesis, and customer validation is thesis to an initial value proposition. And that is when you start the design process to create a product, which is minimum lovable product, as we just discussed, right? And then beyond that is scaling it out and rolling out the go-to-market process to scale out the process, right? To making it real, I can tell you that as a story, a particular story, probably have created 7, 8 products in my career, a few of them being successful. But one interesting story is that we had a hypothesis in my last company where we said we're going to solve mobile performance regression, right? The regression of mobile native apps, the iOS and Android apps. And we went and took that hypothesis to a customer, and the customer actually schooled us saying that the biggest problem for us is not mobile native, it is web apps, right? Because 80% of our traffic actually comes from web apps. Yes, mobile is important, but not that important. Even the mobile app has got huge portions of web components, right? So, and then we went further in terms of saying, okay, so why does it matter to you? What is the economic impact of this? And will you become a design partner? And they could see the demoable mobile product that we have. And they said, if you do this for web and with a bunch of ideas that I have, I'm willing to sign on as a design partner and I'm willing to write a check to you, right? And so we got that check and we worked with them for 6 months to create the product. In the meanwhile, we got 2 other customers to sign on to this. And we were able to launch this product for application regression. We called it, instead of calling mobile regression, we call it app regression, which tackle web and mobile, with web being a very important part of it. This customer, the design partner customer, scaled up big time, and we created a unique product which created a niche for us, and we were able to scale that business into 25 million in SaaS revenues, right? So that's a personal journey that I've had. Happy to take questions.
I just want to let everyone know we have about 3 minutes left. So perfect timing.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe we can do question later. There is no question in the comment. So folks, please feel free to keep your questions, and we can answer them at the end. Yeah, let's go with Aviv. Aviv is here already. So
Hi, everybody.
hey,
Nice to meet you all.
you should have this access to sharing. So
Share. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Give me a second. Let's turn it on. Wait, too many screens. Let's try now. Okay, we'll figure this out. Let's try it this way. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Awesome. Hi, everybody. Apologies for running a little bit late on a single parent this month, so need to put the kids to bed. All right, I think I was told I have like 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, around 10 minutes and then, yeah.
Okay. I'll try to rush through it, and the team can send you guys the deck afterwards if you guys have questions on things that we skipped.
I'll just pop
but-
in and interrupt you when you're at 3-minute mark so you can know.
Perfect. Appreciate it. All right. I apologize for the speed, but lots of examples to talk about. So let's kick it off. My name is Aviv. I'm guessing that you probably missed the introductions and everything, so I'll get to that in a second. But the team asked me to talk about customer development, and basically when I'm thinking of customer development, I'm thinking of how the hell are we getting somebody to pay for something? What is the thing we don't know? How much money we don't know, but just need to get somebody to buy something from us. Quickly about me, I switched careers 5 times in my life before I landed as an entrepreneur. 6 years in the military, I'm doing intelligence, mostly space stuff. If anybody here is doing space tech, please talk to me afterwards. I am an electrical engineer by trade, even though I barely worked in it. I switched careers to management consulting, mostly Fortune 500 type of companies, strategic thinking, M&A, things of that nature. And I turned to be an entrepreneur, mostly in machine learning and data analytics before AI was a cool thing. So call it like 15 years ago. And I've been dabbling in entrepreneurship since then. 4 startups, 1 IPO, 2 exits, currently working on number 4, which is Solar Simplified. That's supposed to be my name over here. I'll skip a bunch of stuff. The way that I think about entrepreneurship, and take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, everything you're hearing from all of the mentors with a grain of salt, it's just our own personal opinions, but I look at problems in 3 categories, and you'll see I'm bringing a bunch of step 3s. I apologize, that's probably my consulting head. Problems your customers know that they have, that's category 1. Category 2 are problems that your customers think they might have. You kind of have to walk them through it a little bit. And category number 3, which I really hope nobody here is working on, is problems that nobody even knows that they have. That's usually the category I like to play in. It's purely masochism. Please don't do that to yourselves. If anybody's in category 3, also talk to me afterwards. Let's try to move you guys to category 2 at least. Couple of quick examples. So category 1, problems your customers might know they have. I really like the Sudex example because everybody actually understands it. It's an exoskeleton for people who are wheelchair bound, low handicap. They know that they're bound to a wheelchair. You know, it's kind of like a given. People know about that. You know, Zillow is another good example. People know when they want to sell a house or buy a house. It's kind of like an obvious thing, and you're just giving them a tool to improve their lives in one way, shape, or form. Category 2 are problems people think they might have, and Uber is a really nice example for that. We all had means of transportation before Uber and Lyft existed. You could walk, you could take a bus, you can own a car, you can rent a car, you can have your mom drop you off, a neighbor, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Take a taxi, obviously. You know, it's not like people didn't have means of transportation, but Uber and Lyft came over, and it was just a lot more convenient, a lot more straightforward, and so it's a problem if you explain to people, hey, instead of taking a taxi, you can have your neighbor drop you off. You don't have to pay your neighbor a little bit of money. Okay, makes sense. I'll give it a try and see how it goes. You know, it's a matter of convenience and price. And then category 3 are problems nobody knows that they have, which is again what I like to play in. But kind of SpaceX is the example people mostly are familiar with. You know, nobody coming from space, the space technology or space industry, nobody even thought about landing rockets. Like that wasn't even a discussion of people in the industry. It's like just a given no-go. Like nobody was even trying. And the problem with putting things in space is that it just costs a whole lot of money to basically put it in space. The rockets usually cost a whole lot more than the payload, whether that's satellites or astronauts or stuff of that nature. Then came Elon and showed that you can land rockets. And Then came Bezos and a bunch of others and proved the same thing. And this was like a known thing for years and years. Nobody even tried this. So again, if you're category 3, expect a really tough life. Let's try to figure out how to move you to someplace else. So where should you guys start? If you ask me, it's all about figuring out who your potential customers are and why should they be talking to you. Now, everybody loves to talk about the pain. Go find people's pain. Sorry to disappoint everybody here. Unless anybody here is doing healthcare, nobody here is solving a pain. Sorry to disappoint you guys. Most of you guys are going to be solving motivations or incentives. Motivation is an emotion, okay? People have an issue. Something costs them money. It takes them time. It's a headache for them. They want to solve it. They'll come to you guys, okay? Incentive is about money. They're incentivized because of their payroll structure, because of the government, because of their competition, because of something out there in the ether that will pay them money or will take away money if they work or don't work with you guys. Somebody unmute themselves and guess which one I like the most from these 3.
Pain.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanish. No, I like incentives, okay? Because money talks, okay? If you can find people who will lose money for not working with you or who will make money by working with you, okay? Because of their payroll structure, because of government incentives, because of whatever, not because you think you are better than the competition, but literally somebody will pay them extra money. That's more worthwhile than anything, because especially if somebody here does B2B, maybe B2C, it's like arguable, unless it's a whole lot of money. But in B2B, if you can get companies to pay, if you can get companies to pay their employees to talk to you, that's it. That's it. You're filthy rich. Let me skip on this. The last triangle. I like to triangulate the previous thing I said, which is the reason why people talk to you, to who they are when you talk to them. Okay, and when you do customer development, you do customer interviews, you have to put people in buckets and figure out what are the reasons, what are the answers that I'm hearing? Do those correlate between one another, or am I talking to different people? And I, like most of my companies, are B2B on one side and B2C on the other, but especially when I'm thinking of B2B, I like to think about, am I talking to the person who's suffering from the problem? Am I talking to the person who owns the money in the company? Or am I talking to the person who will end up using the product that I'm thinking of building? Remember, we haven't actually built anything yet. It's just ideas.
Just real quick,
And-
you're at 3 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you. You should interview each one of these people. And to give you guys a quick example, I'll switch to B2C because I give a bunch of B2B examples. B2C, I like to think about McDonald's, okay? The person who's the user is the child when it comes to Happy Meals. The parent is the banker, and depending on how your kids act, you can argue who's the suffering party over here. But it's really important to talk to all 3 parties, whether it's B2B or B2C, because they will have different answers to the problems that they're experiencing, to the way that you want you to market, to the price point, to your messaging, to the packaging, to everything. So you want to interview all of these 3. Again, I'm skipping a bunch of things, but the way that I like to think about this is God created us with 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you need to do interviews. The way you should do interviews is ask a general, vague question, open-ended question, and shut up. And just listen and take notes. You're not pitching, okay? The moment you start pitching, A, people close because they think you're trying to sell them on something. And B, you kind of anchoring them to what you want them to get anchored to, kind of the words and the pitch that you're presenting. You don't want that at the beginning. At the beginning, you want to ask questions, shut up and listen. People will give you the whole thing. They'll tell you what are their pains, what's their motivation, how do they want to get marketed to, how do they want to get sold to, how much they're willing to pay, etc., etc., etc. Why? Because people like to talk. Okay. And the way I think about this is I'll skip the open-ended question, but I got to meet Pitbull a couple of times in my life in the last couple of years. I like the phrase, ask for money, get advice, ask for advice, get money twice, because you guys are asking for advice at this stage, even if you guys have ideas. By the way, I still do customer development calls without any pitching 4.5 years into my current startup with new customers, because I don't know what I'm missing. And maybe the thing I'm missing is worth a whole lot more than the thing I'm thinking about. And I'll stop here just to call it. And again, we'll send you guys the deck later. You should read through it. If there are any questions, you can talk to me at the end. Thank you all very much for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Aviv. We have few questions, but let's get Christina with the presentation, and then we can continue all the questions. Thank you. Christina,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. Let me get the correct screen up. Just a second. All right, everyone should see this. So I am going to go quick on this, but this also is a presentation that I have given as basically more like a keynote speaker. So this topic is something that's in my heart. I love, and I love bringing it back to FI as to how it can help you at this phase of your business, wherever you might be, but this is a very important topic. All right. This slide is a bio about me. You can read that later, have some basic ideas. Some of you found me on LinkedIn already, but we're going to talk through the 5 steps of customer development. Let's zip through this. Archetype, the first one. And what are we referring to? Where are we thinking, and where can we address this? Some of my slides, a lot of them, you're going to see kind of a guideline or an example for you to see, and it helps you just know a framework. It's not saying it's the only one, but it's a great way for you to have some quick references on these topics, know what to do and where to go next. So who's your buyer persona? Fill it in with the variety of things. Whatever you're trying to focus on, choose. Here's a list of many, and there, of course, are more. Who is your customer? When you're a very, very early stage startup, especially building 0 to 1, I would say the magic number in customer personas is 2. Something as simple as that. You don't want to build out too many of these, but you really want to understand the type of customer you're actually going to be building this product or service for. Who cares? Who will actually use it? Who will buy it? Who will be the one to say it's good or bad? And remember, business is personal. Your customers care, and you should actually care about them. So you want to know who they really are. And building out a persona is not necessarily that you have to go through this full exercise, but this is giving you some guidelines and framework, and you can do this scrappy and quick and dirty like a startup. It's up to you. If you want to be more formal, you can follow this and do it more like a big brand would do. So you'll see some of my examples here are applicable in either one of these situations. Either way, it's important. And you can use it in a lot of different businesses. Don't only think about this building 0 to 1. Think about it from other perspectives. Whether you're trying to create a brand new offering at a pivot point in your business, maybe you're trying to help with operations and adjust things like what orders are coming in, what kind of volume are we having, do we need to order more, do we need to change our work schedule? Maybe it's a change in your audience. I've used this from a perspective of going into new regions, working on things in emerging markets on a totally different continent. You're going to get a very different input and preference there than you might in your main market that you started out. And I've done this in big, huge names as well as little tiny startups. Some succeed, some have failed. So glad to help with that in office hours as well. But you want to say, what really matters for me? Who is my audience? Figure this out. Think about it. From what are their drivers, fears? Who are they in terms of this buying process? What are their goals? If you're looking at this from a B2B enterprise perspective, maybe they have regional goals, something that's going on that's more specific to that segment. And of course, like I mentioned, the bottom note here, ideal to have only 2 or 3 to focus on. I would say if you're very early stage, only 2. Keep it simple. Here's just a snapshot of what you could do if you want to draw out things and actually have some profiles. I share this just to give you some fast visuals. So many varieties of this, but I've found in companies, whether you're virtual or in-person presence, having these things readily available are something people can pull up and go back and reference. Who are we building this for? Who are we developing our product for? Let's go. I'll skip our quote, jump to analytics. Clearly we want some data. Other speakers gave some wonderful insights on this, so I'm going to go really fast here. But answer these questions. Who needs the solution? Who are your competitors? Remember, yes, incumbents are often the innovators. Don't deny that. And what really makes you unique, your unique value prop. That's really what matters, because there's all these trends and themes going on in the market at all times. You want to look at it from an industry perspective. What's dynamic? How are you differentiating? Are you really disrupting? Where is this new product or service going to lie? And you can go out and find this information. I don't want you to forget that many times, and as a founder, they're going to want you to justify your numbers. I will gladly show you if you can't find these already. There's a lot of ways you can find free resources online for your industry segment, no matter what it might be. So don't feel discouraged. Don't feel you have to operate like a big brand that pays millions of dollars for research. There's a lot of scrappy ways to do this. Look at it from your industry, your region, and look at things from finding the data. Sometimes you'll find a study, maybe some in-depth insights or information like this example here, all for free. Because you want to figure out what's your advantage. Looking at this across, this is bringing in my academic side. As someone who's taught marketing and product management for over 10 years now, proud to share this slide because whichever angle you look at, product or the go-to-market angle, you want to look at this and understand where is your value. As a founder, as the business leader, what are you coming in here and doing? Looking at this from the company, the competition, and your customer. And then you zoom in the very center. Of course, the contention, a lot of people are going to think where they all cross, which is the value. But really, to stand out in something like this, you want to really think, what is your unique advantage? What's going to help you win? What is going to be that point of differentiation? So if anything, I will share this slide is one that often people go back to if their mind keeps going in circles, because it might help you frame things, focus, and find where you want to go. But you, of course, need to take actions, no matter where you might be in this process, your phase, your stage, the age of your business. You want to think about this in a variety of ways. Focus on ongoing growth. Not only who is your customer today, but how are you measuring impact? What do they think about this? And don't only think sometimes about your existing customers. I cannot repeat this enough, but too many places I go, they think of only their existing customers. And if you're trying to go into a brand new market, you don't have that contact. You don't have that audience to go and reach right away. They're not on your list. So you need to be willing to go out there and collect these insights from anyone, kind of like these buttons on a wall in a public setting, asking from anyone who's going there, because you need to recruit outside of your network, not just within your network and inside community. But of course, remember that because all of these are your customers. As I mentioned, current, future, and lost. Balance it out. All of these input sources are valuable. You have to make sure and remember all of them. Don't only think in one little bubble. Otherwise, you'll definitely miss some input and the right actions. But of course, no matter what, you need to be willing to change. Change that direction, change where you're going. Understand where you can take this. From what is the problem? What is your solution? Are you in a scenario where they operate in one of these manners versus the other? Adjust it. Figure out where is your market. And so you think it's not only on building your product, sometimes it's how you're taking things to market that customer development work can help you. Because things on this slide help you remember that. Are they very formal, right? In some markets, everybody still has to wear a suit and be business, what they call a business attire, no matter what the weather or what the climate might be. And then there's other markets like here in the Bay Area and San Francisco area where people can wear t-shirts and flip-flops year round and it's fine. That's normal. You just have to know what's your audience, what's your market, and what's really going to work for your customers and for you to continue growing. Because you want to advance. So as we're coming to the final point of this slide, of this presentation, I'm sorry, think about this from a long-term perspective. Not only today, of course, as a startup, I know what it's like. You want to be efficient, make sure every single minute, every dollar, every amount of time you're spending is helpful. But you really want to focus on the longer term if you can over time, because this insight you're gathering through customer development, you want to turn it into this. You want to have a business that's predictable. You want to get it going in something that you can actually figure it out and turn it into something scalable. Because yes, there's the MVP point that other speakers were already mentioning, and they highlighted amazing points for you right there. What do you do then? How do you learn? How do you adjust? But it's going to change. Once you though find that point where you know you're kind of beyond innovate, now you're ready to grow and really scale it, that's when you want things that get predictable. Find something that you can do that, and that will help your business have a better answer financially, operationally, and just overall be able to grow. And of course, the efficiency. If you can really get there, that is the ultimate. I'll be honest, I've been in companies where we try to scale and we can't. And also you just try to get to a certain point where is this really going to go and take it further? So you have to understand where's your business, where's your budget, and where are your boundaries. I've worked with founders from FI around the world, and some are totally self-funded. Others have outside funding. So you determine what's going to work for you and what really applies. Because remember, excellent firms don't believe in just excellence, only constant improvement and constant change. And I pulled this quote for the constant improvement, constant change. I work in places that are doing experiments all the time. And it's crazy, I'll be honest, right? When you see these big platforms I've worked at, that's the kind of environment you will work in, build in, and constantly grow. As a startup, you can do some of that, but you don't have the same budget or resources. But no matter what your size or scale, you can find a way to do this. So think about it, improvement and change at all times, thinking about this and focusing on the customers. And that really wraps it up. Thank you very much. And I'll open it to questions and we'll pass it back so we can have a broader discussion.
Awesome. Thanks, Christina. Yeah, we can take questions. So let's take the question from the chat. If you have more questions, then we can open up in a few minutes. So the first question is to Avi, which is, what are the most actionable steps to identify and engage early adopters who have the strongest pain and motivation within our target market, and how can we incentivize them effectively?
I think it's a great question, but I'm gonna revert back to the message of my presentation. That question assumes you already know your product, you already know your target market, you already know everything, and you're trying to figure out how to engage them. I would actually go in reverse. As I said in the deck, in the presentation, I personally like to start with nothing. Okay. Yes, there's like a path of something I have in mind. There's a hypothesis, but I'm not trying to shove it down people's throats and pray to God I'm going to find product market fit. I go and ask people what they need, and I try to dig deeper into what's causing this need that you have, whether it's a pain or motivation or incentive. What's the underlying theme or the underlying message, the underlying pain that you have there that's driving what you're telling me right now? Like, let's dig deeper. Because at the end of the day, if you find a bunch of people who tell you the same exact thing, which is, by the way, how I started Solar Simplified. I've never worked in the solar industry or in the energy industry for that matter. Again, I'm a data analytics, machine learning guy. But I stumbled on 5 or 6 people about 5 years ago who all worked for companies who are currently some of my customers, not all of my customers, but some of my customers, who have all complained about very specific things. And it sounded the same enough, like close enough that I'm like, I think I can solve this. And I think there's a big enough problem here. And so I let them tell me what they need, and I let them tell me how they want it to look like and how they will price it out and what is the value that they will derive from something like this. And I didn't know what this is at the beginning. I just let people talk and answer some, again, very general questions. And if you triangulate 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of companies, if you think about this B2B, who all say roughly the same stuff, those are your early adopters. They've already voiced everything that they want to you. And so you don't have to pitch to them to become early adopters. They would voluntarily ask you to solve their problem for them. And so I would just flip it on its head. That's how I'm looking at things, at least.
Awesome.
Can I add a little bit of my experience into that? In the early adopter realm, what I've had great success with is by reading this. There's a 25-year-old book which is called Crossing the Chasm, and I think it still applies today as it applied back then, and it basically differentiates early adopters from mainstream mainly through what their incentives are. And if we think about early adopters, especially from a B2B perspective, in a B2B perspective, early adopters are those who want to use a technology to leapfrog the competition. So basically what they're trying to do is have a competitive advantage by buying the latest technology, that being AI, mobile, cloud, whatever it is in whatever moment. And because they want to be the first, they are willing to take more risk, they're willing to pay more money, they're willing to do more things to be there. So an early adopter by definition is someone who wants to be first. And that brings one or two per industry in, but then everyone else will wait and see. Everyone else doesn't want to, once there's one or two, or they're not the leaders in that space or don't intend to be the leaders, then they will wait for someone else to go. So early adopters move forward, trying to be the first. Everyone else waits until there's a return on investment that they can basically implement. And that opens a gap in the middle between your early adopters and basically early adopters you can sell with a PowerPoint. You don't need anything else, a PowerPoint, Keynote, whatever you use, Canva nowadays. But the main idea being that they are sold on the idea, and what you have to prove is that you have the best product in that category. And they're buying the best product, whereas early majority are buying the biggest company, the leader, the lead-in company in the space. And it's a completely different set of very different ways of thinking about it. So early adopters in particular, it's the other thing that I've found is you can't really scale early adopters because by definition, there's only a handful per industry. And once you want to get to the other side, you have to, instead of selling the best product, you have to do a vertical product, something that is very specific to their niche. And that's what gets you on the other side to have more users. Now, many of the SaaS companies start by going directly to the other side of the abyss or the chasm and getting directly into this very focused delivery on a very specific niche in a very specific market and start growing from there rather than trying to get early adopters that are more generic. Early adopters also, you will have a lot of different ones, and then you can choose which beachhead to move toward. That's what I would add.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for your insights. Victor, any more questions, or we should go to the breakout room?
Let's go to the breakout rooms. Before we jump there, founders, I've put you all in groups. A few of you would be with me in the main room. So when you are done with your pitching, come back to the main room. I want you to at least get feedback from 4 mentors today. So don't hang out in the same room. All of you will have that option to come back to the main room, okay? For mentors, I'm putting in the link here for you to rate everyone. All mentors, we've made you co-host. So please mute the founder if they are going on and on. They only should be pitching for a minute. So please mute them. And then this is a feedback session. So founders, no counter argument, no questions. We are just going to listen to the feedback which mentors are providing us. Almost all the mentors know our scoring. Iravi, you are new, but I'll just remind everyone else. So if you go to the link, fi.co hot seat, select fall, Silicon Valley fall, select your name, and then when the founder pitches, you give them scores from 1 to 5. 1 is like the worst score, they need to improve a lot on all aspects. 2 is the idea is decent and they can work, they need to work towards multiple things. We don't have 3s, so 3 makes no sense. 4 is you are ready to advise the startup, and 5 is you're ready to literally take a check out and invest in them. At this stage, most founders get 2s, 1s and 2s, so it's okay, okay? So any questions, or are we all ready to go into different groups?
Question. This is Sujat.
What is
Yes,
this 1 minute pitch? It is a 1 minute hot set pitch or
yes,
deck we prepared or 3 slide deck.
it's a 1 minute hot seat pitch.
Sneha,
Yes.
I had a follow-up question. I saw a message that you posted saying email you the decks so you could share it. Oh, that's for the mentors. I'm sorry.
That's yes.
Too late in the evening.
Hey,
Sorry.
Sneha, I don't see my name there. I clicked on the link. My name is not there.
Neither is mine, yeah.
Okay, that's for the mentors, not the founders.
Ah,
Can I ask a quick question? Follow up, sorry, Sneha.
Yes. So let's do this. Let me open the breakout rooms. Those who have questions, stay back so that the others can start with feedback. Okay. All right.
okay. I don't understand how the mentors are going to score if your name is not there, but we'll see.
No, we'll find your name. Don't worry. If you click, you will not see
No, the
anything.
mentor's name will be there, not yours. And when they click their name, then yours show up. Aditya, you're going to have to choose your room because I'm not able to assign you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm staying back because I need you to help me with something because I can't get into the hot seat to score.
So then, Christina, do one thing. Just
I can just write it down and then.
yes, and we
Okay.
can figure it out later. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So AJ and Murli, you are going to start with me. Who wants to go first?
Happy to go first. Thank you, Sneha.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm AJ Chabria, CMO and co-founder of Karitra. We've got a great thing going on in the US in sports coaching. The market is estimated at about $14 billion, and it's set to double in the next 5 years. Coaches, academies, and sports facilities spend way too much time on administrative tasks. Even though they may or may not use software, they know what they're doing, and they're frustrated and overwhelmed. The problem is that any software that exists out there is outdated, and it doesn't quite meet the needs of a modern business in terms of scalability and customizability. Karitra, what we've developed is software system that's AI powered. It's all in one end-to-end software. We're a solution that automates a lot of business operations for these coaches and offers a platform to sell services as well, like a marketplace. Our MVP, or tonight I want to call it the MLP, is live. We're in revenue, and we've got one case study, our first client, with an upside of 60 grand in terms of savings and revenue generated. So that's been compelling for us. Our team is comprised of 2 co-founders who are sports experts and 2 that come from enterprise software. And we are poised to take it up a lot of levels and scale it out to other sports. We've started in racket sports and ready to go to soccer, lacrosse, and all the other sports. Thank you.
Okay, so I did not time you. This was way over a minute. And in real life, nobody's going to time you for a minute. But there's a reason why we want you to do it in a minute, because you should be able to very crisply express what you're trying to do. Like, that's the intention. So today I'm not being harsh and I didn't mute you, and I will do it next time. Okay. But I give you a 2. And I would have given you a 4 had this been in a minute. So because there's a lot of information you provided, which is not needed, like which is literally not needed.
Tell me what you think is too much, and I can edit it out quickly.
So I feel like I'll tell you things which were good, and then you remove what was not needed. Okay. So revenue, good. You started talking about there being a need for administration and things like that. And then you use the terms frustration and overwhelm, which is like very overused terms, and it just doesn't add any value. It's like, okay, everyone is frustrated and overwhelmed. Who's not? So like, be very specific to what you're doing. I like that you have a team with the background, but I wouldn't spend so much time on it. Like
I see.
everything could be faster. Also, I feel I talk fast, so maybe you can
I don't.
yeah. So if you increase your pace a little bit, then
I
you
could do that.
yeah. So like kind of add more things there. And you didn't have an ask. So like that's a big thing missing. Like you always should have an ask. So it could be anything. It's not always about funding. It can be about adding a team member. It can be adding an advisor, like anything. If you're looking for partners, then at that pace. Then you are already working in one segment. You want to enter into another segment. You don't need to also mention that in the 1 minute pitch. 1 minute is just for the hook that, okay, I have something going. This is this much dollar problem and I have revenue coming in and this is what I need. That's it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. The ask at the end, pick up the pace, get rid of frustrated and overwhelmed. I'm on it. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Who do you want to go to next?
Yeah, I can go. Sure.
Uh,
Yeah, so imagine you, as an executive, you woke up on a Monday morning and you have a lot of emails and a lot of Slack messages and a lot of to-do list to work on that, and you are frustrated to communicate that to your team. So busy executives often are bogged down by these administrative tasks like scheduling meetings, managing inboxes, and tracking to-do lists. So these tasks consume a lot of valuable time and also divert their focus from working on their actual problem, and then divert their focus from strategic decision making. So I am Murli Ramasamy, founder of Assist.ai. Exec Assist.ai is a AI powered platform. Intelligently automate scheduling by coordinating across multiple calendars, prioritize your emails by summarizing and flagging, and streamlines your task management. So what makes us unique is it learns by using the assistant ability. It learns from your preferences over time and provides a personalized experience through the seamless integration. So we are targeting a 96 billion global productivity software market, focuses on 50 million executives in the mid-sized enterprise companies. So we are developing an MVP, and we need funding, $3 million funding for our product development and scale our team. Thank you for your time.
Okay, 1. And the reason it's a 1 is because it felt like a monologue to me. Like this is the feature, this is how we are different. And it was very monotonous in your pitch. So I feel that there's a lot of improvement which is needed. Also, just saying that it has AI and all of that, like these are just buzzwords. It's not like really adding value. So how we are different, AI, no, I wouldn't buy it anymore because everyone is going to say that we have AI in it. So things like, how is it, like how much productivity will it impact? It'll help you save so much time. Like these are important things why people will want to use your solution. And also, like when I was listening to you, I'm a business owner, I can totally use your product. But then questions which come to my mind is, what will the learning curve be like? Is this another tool I need to, like today we have so many tools already that this becomes another tool. So like, how do you battle this kind of mindset?
Okay.
And you don't need to like mention, I'm targeting this to this size company and all of that. Like that's too much of detail, which is not needed. I would focus more on the benefits and not the features. Like calendar scheduling, and these are features. These are
Mhm.
not benefits. Are you like the technical person?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where like that language, that's where the difference is, where
Mhm.
you are more focused on the product versus like focusing more on the experience the product can provide an entrepreneur.
Okay. Yeah.
So that way. And like, I think the main thing is like, the idea didn't really excite me so much. So we can work. I haven't yet opened office hours. I'll do that. I've been like crazy busy for the last couple of weeks. But you'll see more of me. I'm going to see you every week. So we can keep refining this. I feel that you have something there. I just feel you need to present it in a much, much better way so that it's more attractive. Because right now, like honestly, my first thought was, I feel that a human executive assistant might do the job better. Like that was my first thought. When you,
Okay.
that's what you're creating, right? You're creating an AI version of a human executive assistant.
Yes. Yeah.
Like from that point of view. So that's why. But yeah, I think like overall a lot of improvement is needed in just your way of presenting and creating that story.
Okay. Sure.
Yes. All right. Any questions either of you have for me, or I'm going to put you in a different breakout room?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
for
sorry, Stan, one question. Back to Karitra on the ask. Just to get a little clarity on it, we should ask for the money and the equity, and mention the equity, or what do you think we should ask for?
No equity. Like don't mention the equity. You can ask for money like how Murli did. Or if you don't, like there are founders who don't need money and they are bootstrapping, but you might need, I don't know, you might need somebody to help with marketing. You might need somebody to help with product development, or you might need a partner with, or somebody who knows someone at REI, who knows? So like those kinds of things, like whatever you need, ask that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Do you have a preference in terms of the mentor you would want to go?
I'm totally open.
Okay, let me look at which rooms are smaller and I'll put you there.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to put you with Aviv, AJ.
Thank you.
Okay, and
All right.
Murli, I'm going to add you to Victor's group.
Okay. And one quick question is like, how to book the mentor sessions? Because I know like there is a office hours, I can definitely book it, but I don't see any way to book the mentors. I mean, every week.
So you mean the ones who are presenting?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if they've not put it in the portal, like then they've not opened it up. So what I would recommend is reach out to them on LinkedIn. When you're
Okay.
sending a request, mention that you are from FI, because nowadays you get so many invites that if nobody mentions from where they know me, I tend not to accept.
Okay.
Unless like, I know the cohort now. So yes, I know, okay, this one is from Founder Institute, so I'll accept it. But mentors are busy. So do that and then ask them like, I don't see office hours, but I would want to talk to you. So like, can we schedule a call? And most mentors are ready to do that.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, from a product perspective, right? So we just started last month. So I felt the problem is real. I think as you said, maybe we need to pitch it better to be more attractive. Yeah.
Yeah, and like also it depends on your audience. So like my initial thought was your audience should be like small business owners or startup CEOs, because they have like so much going on already.
Mm-hmm.
and they are willing to experiment. They don't have the money to hire somebody to do this.
Okay.
So like a tool is a much it's a cheaper version, right? Like a software is going to always be cheaper than hiring a human person. So like from that point of view, like I would experiment even with that segment and not focus on like you said small to medium, right?
Yeah, mid-size company.
Mid-size. Yeah. So I would like when you're doing have you done customer interviews yet?
Yeah, I'm doing like a few people right now. And they are
Okay.
yeah, all the way from entrepreneurs to mid-size companies. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, then once you have all the data, segment and see like is there a pattern there? And in your interviews, make sure that you have like a few open-ended questions. Because then you get the best responses.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll join the other room.
Yes. Okay. Hi, David. Are you
Hello.
ready?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
All right, let's go for it.
I'm David Moss, CEO of I'm Lonely, and we have launched a social mobile app to assist single users with guaranteed in-person dates at local businesses based on their interests by ordering background checks and driver license verifications to eliminate fake profiles and ghosting with no subscription fees. Right now, more than 47% of US adults are single and 38% have reported being catfished on a dating app. I have over 20 years of IT experience building applications for government and private agencies, and I also had a horrible time connecting to a real person while spending a small fortune myself. We currently have 380 active users since launch in the Houston, Texas area. Join our dating evolution.
All right. So I will give you a 2. And the reason I like overall, I feel it was good, but I feel some important things were missing. So one thing is you should always have an ask at the end. The second thing is you mentioned about like 380 active users, but like, do you have any success stories? Like, what do I do with active people who are on the app, right? Like, and especially like the app like yours, where the end results, like you are saying, we are guaranteeing things. So the metric, the other metric is more important to me than like the number of active users. So like these many people have gone on successful dates, or you know, if it's 380, then the number of dates might be small, so maybe a percentage to like show a bigger number. But like that's how I would approach the whole pitch and kind of showcase your wins and go from there. And then the next thing is what's your plan from now? Like okay, you've done this, you are at this stage, you are in Houston, so what next? And because your ask was missing, maybe in that you can cover like, okay, what you want to do next. If you're looking for funding, then I know that, okay, this is what you're going to do with the money. Or if you're looking for something else in terms of technology, partnership, or something like that, then you get all of that information. But overall, I feel like you did a good job in terms of just expressing, and your way of presenting all that was really good.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, before I move on to Kavita and Rashmi, Christina, is your group done already?
Yeah, our group finished. Was very organized and smooth. Christina did a great job of getting everyone 1-minute pitches in and stuff. So I told them to just pick other rooms to go back to. So some came here and some went to other rooms. I'm not, that's what I was thinking you told us to do, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yes, absolutely. So let's do this. So I'm going to also assign Christina to a different room then. Are Kavita and Rashmi and David, like, are all of you from Christina's room?
Kavita and I are from Christina's room. I
Okay.
don't believe David was with us.
David, I'm
I
going
was
to.
from the other gentleman.
Okay, Aviv, yeah, I can see you.
Yeah.
So David, I'm going to push you to Christina's room.
Okay.
And give me 1 sec, okay? I'm going to send a message out so that people can join Christina's room.
Oh, wait, so should I go back to Christina's room?
Yes, and
Okay.
I'll send founders your way.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Let me put you back there, Christy. You'll have to join on your own because, okay, she's gone. All right, Kavita and Rashmi, do you have questions or are you here to pitch?
Pitch.
All right, go for it, Kavita.
All right. Customer service is equally about operational efficiency as it is about relationship management. And yet businesses struggle to achieve these basic goals and have to go through disconnected solutions, which continuously increase their cost as they try to scale. Connected is a platform that is purpose-built for customer service management. It brings together all of the parties that are involved so that businesses can achieve efficient and transparent exchanges for everyone. Through a packaged set of offerings that can easily be configured, it gives businesses the ability to achieve speed and scale. For example, a complaint management application, which can be configured for guest complaints or student complaints or even patient complaints. I've been working for 2 decades in the tech enterprise and have a deep understanding around these business patterns working with customers directly. I'm looking for a founding team to build this vision with. Thank you.
Okay. Were you reading this?
Not verbatim, but I do have my doc open next to me.
Yes, okay. So a couple of things here. I feel that your initial part of the pitch went on for too long before I actually understood what the solution is. So I would want it to like be up front and center. Because I was very lost. I was trying to like figure out what is the problem she's trying to solve. And my mind was just in that space for a really long time. Then because what happens is when you have notes, right? Even if you don't want to look at it, you tend to look at it just to make sure. And what happens because of that is your voice and your tone becomes monotonous. Like it's the same throughout. So then eventually you start losing interest in what you're saying. And when you don't have that, your voice will fluctuate. There will be ups and downs and you'll be more passionate. So like I feel from a pitch point of view, you really need to work more on your deliverability and also placing the content in a different way so that I'm attracted to listening to the whole thing right at the beginning. Other than that, like because I was so lost at the beginning that I'm still in that mind frame. Like I just know that you are creating a customer support solution. That's it. So, and you don't want people to leave with just that much information. And yes, I also know that you're looking for a founding team. Now, what does that mean? Like, when you say founding, what is missing in the team? You need help with marketing, you need help with something else, building the technology. And sometimes you don't even need a team to do all of that. So that is why letting people know what you're actually looking for in a little more detail would help.
Got
But
it.
I would want
Yep.
to link to it again, Kavita, in the next session maybe, so that I can pay more attention to it and not be like lost.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I think all of you have access to jump around in rooms, right? So Kavita, feel free to hop into any other mentor's room. And Rashmi, before I move on to you, so Christina's other founders, Mary, Diana, I'm going to butcher everyone's name, so I'm not saying anyone's name. But you can feel free to move to Christina's room if you've not already been there, because she just has one founder right now. So you'll be able to like really pitch quickly.
Yeah, I had that question too. How do we move to a different room? How do we pick a room? Because I just left the room and I was brought here.
So
Oh.
if you go to breakout rooms, are
Is
you
there
not
like
able
a
to
button somewhere? Because we don't really see.
Oh, yes, I see it.
at the bottom, like
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
have
Okay.
touch,
Oh,
Okay.
you will be able to, and like know this, because right now I'm assigning you, but eventually our sessions will change and we
Yeah.
will just like you will pick which mentor you want to go to and you will keep hopping. And that's the beauty of Silicon Valley, where we have like so many mentors and so many founders where you get so much feedback.
I think Christina's are getting full. Do you want me to stay here? I'm happy to do either way.
Anything is good. So like right now I see just one person and I think Rashmi is going to join there, but Rashmi was here first. So Rashmi, if you want to pitch quickly and then jump there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to stay here and I'll pitch.
All right. Okay. Founders, you are free to stay here or move around as well. But Rashmi, let's go.
Okay. Hi, Sneha. My name is Rashmi, co-founder of FemForge, a marketplace that helps women-led small businesses thrive by connecting them with a vetted pool of highly skilled women experts looking for autonomous roles. The vision of FemForge is personal to my co-founder and me. We've seen how traditional work models break, especially for qualified women who take caregiving breaks and then try to re-enter the workforce and cannot find those flexible opportunities that give them this autonomy of time. So FemForge's mission is to address two critical gaps. One is this talented pool of women whose potential is untapped, and two are small businesses, 51% of which are women-led and underserved by big tech. The reason I believe I am suited to build FemForge is I've spent 20 plus years in a tech career balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship, and I've experienced both sides of the marketplace. In my role at LinkedIn, I led women in tech chapters and saw these challenges up close. I'm really fired up to build a product that will disrupt how work is done, one woman's success story at a time. And what we're looking for at this time is support from Founder Institute to refine our business plan and be able to raise funds.
All right. So overall, it was a great pitch. Were you a little nervous?
You know what? Because I'm trying to keep it in 1 minute and I have notes, and I'm not looking at the notes, but I'm trying to remember it, right? So that it fits in 1 minute. And I think that piece of it just kind of,
Yeah.
it runs in my head.
Yeah. No. Okay. So like a few things. I feel you can still make this crisp. For example, you don't need to say why I am the right person to do this. You can just directly start saying things. That my experience with LinkedIn and directly, like you can really make this more crisp, I feel. There are other projects. So like I love what you're doing, and I understand the problem, like owning a business myself, like I know what you're trying to do. My question is this a place for women business owners to get business from other women business owners, or is it a place to get talent from?
Yeah.
That's the confusion I had. And then look at the Mom Project. Read about I Fund Women, because they very recently they had this whole Service X concept which they shut down. It was a very well-funded company. Then now they are having to rebrand themselves and remove the word women. So I want you to research these companies to make sure that you're understanding the trend in the industry. And although we want to create something specific for women, but if it's not going to be scalable, then we need to think of other ways to do it. So like these two companies I have interacted with myself, and like Mom Project is very similar to what you want to do, where when they take a break, you can still get on. And I know a few people also who have been a part of that, and then now they have their own businesses. But that is kind of my suggestion to you right now. In your ask, when you say you're looking for funding, mention the amount and why you're like what level you're at. And also, I didn't really catch whether what stage you're at. Like, is it idea stage? Is it MVP stage? Like, where are you in the whole journey today? And another thing to add in the whole mix would be validation. So if you're in the idea stage, then I need to know that you've surveyed so many people and you've gotten this kind of a response. If you're further along, then I need to know you have so many people signed up. Because these, like, I feel this information needs to go in and then a lot of those words need to come out and then it'll become like really crisp. And I'm happy to help you change actually in this vision. I'm very close to like doing stuff for women-owned businesses. But like from the industry point of view, just do a little bit more research, okay? Because of these two companies.
No, very valid feedback. Thank you, Sneha. I'm very familiar with Mom's project, and we have a differentiator, but again, the 1 minute doesn't allow us to say it. But I think your feedback is spot on, and I'll connect separately. I'll find some time.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'll open up office hours starting next week. But reach out to me on LinkedIn, and then through the portal, you can always reach out to me as well. And I'm going to see you every Thursday. So yes.
Thank you.
All right. Rashmi, feel free to hop to any other mentor, okay? Other founders who just joined, you have the ability to hop into any other mentor's room. To give you a heads up, Irvi and Aditya's room have 3 founders, and Arkai and Vishal's room also have a few founders. But who wants to go and pitch next over here? Mary, I think you joined me, or was it you?
Hello, my name is Mary, and I am co-founder of Methoi Music. Methoi wants to make music publishing simple. Music publishing is vital because it represents half of a musician's potential income. There's a common misconception that publishing is simply getting your music in front of the public. That step is actually distribution. And we are not in competition with common platforms for that, like DistroKid. The music publishing industry is growing. Media Research's numbers suggest that it will grow from 10.1 billion to 16.8 billion by 2033. And the number of independent musicians grew by 12.7% last year. I've been in music publishing since I was 16. I got into it then and never left. I am asking for a technical co-founder to help us build a simplified platform. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mary, I don't have as much knowledge about the industry, okay? So, and I'm sure that when you talk to other mentors and advisors, there will be a few who don't have enough knowledge in terms of how the industry works. Now, adding numbers in terms of growth is good, but all I remember is those numbers. So you want to be aware of, and you need to create your pitch in such a way that you're emphasizing on those points which you want people to remember. And that's a way of talking, and it comes through practice. So when you're creating your pitch in a Word document, bold, highlight, and do these things to important words, and then emphasize more on those words, that will help. The other thing is, when you say you want to create a platform to make things easy, I don't even know what is the problem today. And again, this is coming from someone who doesn't know the industry, right? And you are going to talk to mentors, investors who may not have that knowledge. So maybe focusing a little bit on the problem and then saying that you want to create a solution and then taking forward the entire pitch might be a more impactful way of presenting. So that's my feedback. I would love to see your pitch again next week, and see how you've kind of refined it from there.
Thank you, Sneha.
Absolutely. All right. So again, a reminder to founders, you can hop off and get feedback from other mentors. I'm going to be here every week, okay? But in the meantime, Nirshila, do you want to go next?
Yes, I'll go next. Hi, everyone. I am Nirshila, and I'm a public healthcare practitioner and also the founder of Leah Cares. Leah is a website that is streamlining the process to connect with holistic providers for midlife women, focusing on hormone health and midlife wellness. 5 years ago, my mom had a heart attack, and the doctors asked us why didn't she come in for her medical checkup, leading to her heart attack. And one of the things we found out was that she had no knowledge of the types of services that she was supposed to get. And we ended up doing a deeper dive into her, I'm just going to stop here. I'm not prepared.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you can always pitch. It can be really hard to include your personal story like this. One feedback I have is instead of sharing the entire story, you can always mention in the 1-minute pitch that you're trying to solve a problem out of personal pain. That's it. Because sharing it can be really tough. So I'm right here, Nishila, whenever you're ready, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Who wants to go next? Okay.
I can.
Oh, could
Tatiana.
Katiana. Okay, sorry, Katiana. I'm sure I'll get it next week, okay, now that you've told me.
Okay. All right. I'm Katiana, and my company Rocas is developing a SaaS database to help consumers in the healthcare industry access to risk data with speed and accuracy. Today, in the healthcare industry, we faces with an increase of challenges around data accuracy and risk management. Mistakes in verifying risk data can lead to delaying in decisions, delay in compliances issues, and ultimately impact patient outcome. Healthcare consumers need tools that streamline these processes and provide them with quick, reliable, and up-to-date information. I have been in the healthcare industry for a few years, and most clinicians, they do not know any details or any information in regard to their employer's malpractice insurance. I know the importance of verifying malpractice insurance and how difficult it is to obtain those information with little information. Therefore, our platform will automate, provide clarity, and save the consumer with time and money. We are seeking funds to help complete product development, secure additional clients, and also ensure compliance in the healthcare regulations.
Okay. So it was long. I didn't time you, but my hunch is it was more than a minute. And the reason we want you to do it in a minute is nobody in real life is going to, have a timer and ask you to stop at a minute. But the intention is that you learn how to present yourself within a minute, so you are focusing just on the important things. I'm currently advising a startup who is into cardiac health monitoring. So I know the space you are in. Like they have an AI cloud-based solution for analyzing data, and I understand the problem in this industry. I just feel that everything you were saying, it had a lot of technical details in it, which may not be necessary. Like I feel I got it because I know about this, but I don't know if every mentor, advisor, or investor would really understand or need to know rather all of this. So I would focus more on the fact that we help provide accurate data to make decisions for the physicians easier so that they can provide better healthcare to their patients and like focus more on the benefit, because your solution is ultimately going to do that versus focusing more on the data piece. I didn't understand what stage you are at, what is the traction, why there is a need for something like this, like have you done interviews and things like that. So adding that is going to be more important than talking a lot about the features. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Who wants to go next? And Mary, you are done in this room, pop into some other mentor's room, okay? Katyana, same for you. I want you to get as much feedback. Okay, Daniel, I think you wanted to go.
Yep.
Yes.
No problem. Perfect. My company, Talent Pool, is developing a next-gen professional networking platform and marketplace, revolutionizing how 2 billion Gen Z professionals express their capabilities so that organizations can find and retain the next generation of talent. Existing incumbents inefficiently match candidates in misaligned career paths, resulting in low job satisfaction, incompatible teams, and high turnover. Recruitment is actually the #1 concern of C-suite executives, and retention represents the largest cost for people in HR teams. AI has forever transformed the nature of work. LinkedIn has become a caricature of itself, and resumes are an antiquated and biased way to represent capabilities. The timing's right because traditional hiring methods are outdated, and there's an urgent need for a more holistic, compatibility-based talent solution, especially as Gen Z enters the workforce in greater numbers. Now, I'm the right person to build this business because I've got a proven track record of scaling innovative teams and a deep understanding of the challenges both job seekers and employers face in today's hiring landscape. I'm currently looking for $500,000 to onboard an engineering team, launch our beta in 3 months, scale our community to 1,000 concurrent active users, and onboard 10 pilot HR teams. This is Talent Pool. I'm Daniel Green, and I'm inviting you to take back your talent.
Okay, I loved your passion and the way you presented yourself. Like that was spot on for me. I was hooked on, I was listening to you, I was focusing on your voice, and which is like the most important thing when you don't have slides. So all that was great. Now, a few things when it comes to marketplace. You talked about scaling to 1,000 members. What is it right now? Like I was clueless about it. So if it is 0 right now, then talk about customer interviews. And like you want to show validation that this is needed, because one thing is research and the other thing is actually bringing in people or talking to them. So add that, like idea stage founders, all of you, add that in your pitch that you've spoken to people and they are willing to be your beta customers or willing to be paid customers, because that is validation and traction in your stage. So I feel that was missing. To build a team, where are you located?
Based in Chicago.
Okay, 500,000 to build a team is too small amount. So look at numbers. So look at like the industry numbers, do some research in terms of your ask, because sometimes like that can be a red flag where you're asking the amount which makes no sense. Also, instead of building and having a team in-house, I would recommend outsourcing like the beta. There are companies who help with creating apps, right? So I would go that route and like ask for funds more for growth and marketing versus like building a team, because then for me, it's like I don't even know if the product is going to do well. You might have to pivot like like 10 times, and then having a team doesn't make sense. I do feel that in the current market situation, a solution like this could be helpful. I worked with a startup which was focusing on a different audience, but I like their idea, which maybe you can add to this. So she's working with teenagers to get them projects and internships. But like as teenagers, their academics is not everything. Like that doesn't define them as individuals. It's they do so many things in high school, like sports and everything else. So her platform helps teenagers create like a holistic view of who that person is. And maybe that is what is needed in today's world, where it's not like in a resume, it's so theoretical and so driven by just your work ex, that today it's not just about that. It's also about the communities I'm being a part of. It's about my voluntary work. It's about me being a mom and being able to juggle everything together. So if that's something you can create or add, and then interview both companies and candidates based on that, and see like if that can be your uniqueness in terms of the platform, like you're giving them a holistic personality, versus like in today's job market, it's very specific to this is the work I've done, this is the skill I have, this is the training I've done, and that's about it, which I feel is very unfair.
Yeah, that's thoughtful feedback, and I agree. There's a ton of research and analysis and interviews that I've conducted that do articulate that, and the solutions do incorporate broad personality assessments, not just simply based on a quick, conversation, but proprietarily built with a doctor of psychometrics out of Stanford. So these are things we're looking to incorporate. But of course, I think your feedback's spot on. We don't simply want to showcase what someone's done, but represent who they are, their inherent motivations, so that can help them identify and align with a career path that fulfills them. How do you do all that in a minute to fulfill some of these things while still sort of sticking to, I think, the boilerplate template that FI presents? Like, any recommendations there?
So it takes time and practice, right? Like there are words which you can, like there could be 3-4 words you can combine into one. And it takes a lot of practice and effort. So we could work and figure out, like once I have the text format of the page, then I can look at it and highlight, okay, you don't need this. You can get rid of these words and just use this. But that's how I would approach this. Like look at every word and see, is this creating any impact to your end goal? And can you remove it? Like, am I saying this for ego? Because I want to show this off, or am I saying this which will help me get funding? Like that's how I'll start and then go from there.
So less story and more just very specific facts driven into the ask.
No, it should be a story, because otherwise nobody will listen to you. But it should all, let's do this. Send me your written format and then we can work from there. Like it's difficult to explain this without actually highlighting and saying that, okay, maybe you can eliminate this.
Yeah, and it sounds like you have some office hours opening up, so I'll just try to book some of those.
Okay, so I don't have office hours open, but I will do that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Okay, who wants to go next? All right, Alan.
Thank you. All right. The construction industry, notorious for lagging in tech adoption, is at a turning point. I'm Alan Espinoza, and in my experience working on large construction projects and with tech giants like Autodesk, I've seen firsthand how resistant the industry can be to change. But younger leaders are now embracing AI and innovative technology to avoid falling behind, creating a huge opportunity to modernize and reconstruct outdated workflows. Reconstructive AI is developing a solution that tracks progress on construction projects by automatically comparing photos and scans from job sites to the original blueprints. This helps construction teams move away from manual tracking and gives them a clearer view of how projects are progressing, lightening their load. Even world-class projects like Disney and Universal theme parks struggle with outdated workflows. I would know because I was there. No job escapes the pain points of an entire industry in dire need of renovation. I've lived through the problems myself, and I've spent the last 5 years talking to construction companies, taking solutions to market, and helping my customers implement tech to streamline their workflows. AI automation is just the beginning. It opens the door to improving other workflows across the AEC life cycles. The tides are turning, and this is just rebuild, reimagine, reconstructive.
Okay, so my first thing was that there's no ask. Always have an ask at the end. And it need not be funding, it can be anything, but there has to be an
Now
ask.
seeking early adopters, partnerships, and early funding to bring our product to market. Sorry, it was cut off. I forgot to read that.
Yeah. And my second thing is you are not supposed to read.
Well, yeah, I know. That's just practice.
So I feel so it's good that you have background in this industry. I know that people in this industry can be very dated and not willing to change. I'm working with a startup who has created a software for subsea cable manufacturing company, and like it's the same story there. So he's trying to like that startup is trying to eliminate AutoCAD and created like a plug and play solution for that. So approaching this industry is different from like any typical industry. It's about showcasing the outcome to them. I didn't hear the traction piece. I didn't hear the stage you are at piece. So like these are important things missing in your pitch right now. Because I like, okay, you have a great idea and I just understood the idea in the first go. I didn't need so much of explanation. So maybe like that's where you can add more details. Like the moment you talked about taking a picture and it'll show you the plan and that's it. Okay, I got what your idea is. Then you start talking about how many people you've spoken to, what is your traction like, and then future plans and funding. So that's how I would modify this pitch. But overall, I feel it's good. In our last cohort, we had someone who wanted to tap into this industry, but not this idea. It was different. It was for tiling, like specifically for tiling constructors. So ping me later and I'll connect you with him. And maybe there are synergies there.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
All right. Okay, who wants to go next?
I can go next if nobody else is on the queue.
Okay. I feel I'm going to ask everyone to put in their names as they come in so that we can track. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. So if any founder wants to hop out of the main room and jump into another mentor's room, go for it. If there's someone who has any specific questions for me, then let me know and we can get to it. Otherwise, Joanna, the stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my name is Johanna. I'm an event marketing manager, and my company Upcyclio is helping sustainability and finance managers at major convention centers with the intuitive SaaS solution so that they can deal with the upcoming regulatory shifts and changing customer demands by delivering accurate and timely sustainability, also known as ESG data. So now is the right time to build because all the venues in European Union have to start complying with the ESG reporting standards starting next year. New York has rolled out their legislation and California is following, and all the major clients like Salesforce and big tech companies are requesting this data. They're currently doing the process on Excel spreadsheet, meaning 250 CSV files for a single report, and the volume is 150 reports a year. It's not attainable. I myself, I have worked the client side in the global event industry, and we are looking for advisors who can commit for a 10-year journey to build our distribution channels.
Okay. Were you reading?
No.
So when you were talking, I felt as if you were reading because of your tone. Like it was the same throughout the pitch. So this is a feedback for everyone. Like when you are excited about your product or company, if I'm talking about my company, like you can really see it in my body language that I'm like crazy about it. And I'm sure that all of you are. You just need to start expressing it so that we can get excited with you. And because that, like delivering it that way creates a very different impact. So that is like my first feedback for you. Like I want to see that passion in you. And then I feel there was a lot of like technical jargons or technical terms which was specific to your industry. And you might want to stay away from it and focus more on the benefits. So like you talked about this Excel sheet and how data was stored and how they were managing and things like that. I would dumb it down and not like talk about but talk more about like actually Excel sheet is kind of dumbed down. But if that's the problem, then I would focus more on that. I feel that I was trying to find what is the problem and how you can solve it. Also, words like now is the right time and things like that, I feel they take up a lot of your time and they're not adding value. So if we can, if there's a way to reduce that text and focus more on problem, solution, traction, ask. So then you have like a flow and not in this order, but like having all of this information. Because that is what I'm looking for right now. Like, what are you trying to solve? Have you done interviews? Where are you at in the stage? And then what is your ask? And I feel I couldn't get all of that information. And it is possible to give all of that in a minute. It's not that it's not possible. We just need to figure out like which words to choose and which to ignore.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Yes, Tani.
Is it possible if I could go next?
Sure. So let's see. We are at 8:03. I am going to hop off in 15 minutes, okay? So giving everyone a heads up. So everyone who's here, I would love to hear each one of your pitches. And then whoever comes in after this, I'm going to have to do like office hours with them. But if you could quickly like put your names down here and then it'll be first come first serve. Okay, so Tanish, you go next. I got a note from, okay.
Where to
Perfect.
put the name? I am not able to put the name. I do not know
All
where.
right, Sujit, I know you've been here for a bit, so you can go next. All right,
Alright, so,
Tanish.
Oh,
so
you are
first
also
put my
here?
name in the chat and then I can start.
Yes.
All right, I put my name in the chat and I'm ready right now. 3, 2, 1, boom. Hi, my name is Tanish Shenoy. I'm a freshman at UC Berkeley and the founder of Mira Einstein, an edtech startup that makes entrepreneurship a lot more easier and accessible for teenagers. A lot of the startup and entrepreneurship courses that teenagers have are not the best. They're pretty limited. They don't have a wide access to mentors or give the right resources all the time. Plus, on top of that, schools do not teach entrepreneurship. And in recent times, there's been a growing rise in many teenagers who want to become entrepreneurs and launch their own startups, but have no clue where to start or are very scared of failing. Personally, for me, I was trying to get into a startup program that I wanted to do for so long. But when I was 17, I tried to apply. It said you had to be 18 or older. And despite having the credibility, I could not get in until I turned 18. That kind of broke my heart and made me realize how much of a huge gap this is that I need to bridge. Therefore, I present Mira Einstein, a way to have teenagers become entrepreneurs and successful. Thank you.
Okay, so your ask was missing and also like the traction piece. Have you spoken to other teenagers? If yes, how many? What was their thought and things like that? So like that traction needs to be there. Also, I feel that just having a platform where you can get education at the teenage level, it may be a good product, but like adding things like mentorship, advisory, and if that is the plan, then you need to say that this is not like just a platform to learn. It is also about like going through that journey, and there'll be someone to guide you through it. Like even when I started my company, I was not a teenager, but I would have loved to have a mentor. This is like a generic problem which people have. Also, the fact that you mentioned that a lot of the places they need you to be 18 years. So that is an important point. So highlight that earlier on. And mention about, like, is it just you? Who else is in the team? Where are you? What stage are you at? Is it in the idea phase? Do you have MVP? Like, where are you? So like these multiple things were missing. And I feel that from an idea point of view, the moment you say that you're creating a platform for entrepreneurship training for teenagers, like we get it. Okay, you don't need to explain a lot in terms of what it is. And that's the beauty of the product you're trying to create. So then you get time to talk about all these other things.
I see. Okay. Thank you for your feedback. I'll definitely see what I can do to put it into action.
All right, sounds good. Okay, Sujit, you want to go next?
Oh, yes, I can. The sports coaching business, sorry, let me start. I'm starting a new pitch right now. The sports coaching industry is valued at $14 billion. It is predicted to double in next 5 years. The sports coaching businesses are bogged down with outdated and on-fleet softwares. The effect is both coaches and business owners, they spend 20 to 25% of their time in manual admin tasks. Around 10% revenue losses, plus low customer ratio satisfaction level. At Karitra, we have built an AI-powered software solution for sports coaching businesses that helps them automate all their business activities and give them a marketplace to sell their services. Marketplace is live with 60 services, 1,800 users, buyers, and $2.1 million bookings till date. The case study with our first customer showed $60,000 upside on $1 million bookings, of which around $30,000 came from the new bookings from the marketplace, others from the operational cost reduction. We are seeking for $1.5 million with the objective to reach 1 million revenue in 1 year.
Okay. So I also listened to AJ's pitch today.
Okay.
And his was a lot better for multiple reasons. One, I feel that the amount of pauses you're taking throws me off. Like I get lost in the length of the pause. So you need to work more on your way of presenting and pitching. Also, these numbers you were mentioning, because I heard AJ's, I know that your revenue is $60,000. The other numbers were just like confusing to me. Like, why are you saying these? And because of, again, the pause, like it confused me all the more. So I would work more in terms of presenting and pitching in a much more passionate way, and focusing on the problem, the solution, and the traction, and then the ask, but in a much concise way. I feel it was a little, even if it was not more than a minute, it felt like a really long pitch. So I think,
yeah,
I think that's like kind of my feedback. He is more passionate about the product than you are. based on the pitch.
Based on the piece, this piece just I framed in 1 second back, 1 minute back. Because I gave a piece to Bisal, he said to change to the pivot. Instead of targeting this
One thing, no, so this is not a discussion because I need to like get feedback, give feedback to others. But the important thing is you don't need to listen to every mentor and advisor. Okay. Maybe I say something and you don't like it, and you don't like it, it's okay. You are the founder, you know your vision. So you might get two mentors who talk about like, and who give you opinion, which is like two opposite poles. So it all depends on which feedback, when applied, will help you with your bigger vision. Take
Got
that,
it.
okay? Like you don't need to listen to everybody. And like, if you don't listen to me, I'm not going to get offended or no, nothing like that. So keep that in mind as founders. Like you cannot go change your pitch based on every mentor you're listening to, every advisor. Yes, if 10 advisors give you the same advice, then yes, you need to work on it. But otherwise, like if there are 9 saying one thing and one is saying something else, unless that one person is like saying something which is so core to your vision, then it makes sense. So yeah, you don't need to listen to every advice. Make sure that everything you're doing holds value for your vision. And it's okay. Take things which make sense for your business.
Thank you.
All right. So I see that if you've not spoken to Irvi and Aditya, there is just one person in their room, so you can hop there. And I am on a time crunch, so if I'm not able to speak to you today, we can always speak next week. But let's see. So people who've put their names in the chat, I'm going to just go by that. Stas, you want to go next?
Sure. Hey, my name's Stas, and I'm the CEO of My Recovery Connect. My Recovery Connect is a digital health tool empowering individuals addicted to drugs and alcohol to rebuild their lives, rebuild their families, and be healthy. We do that by integrating wearables, AI, tracking, in addition to what's called contingency management. Pretty much, we're incentivizing people to change their behaviors. There's a few models that we are leveraging to do that. One of them is Second Chance Pell, allowing us to deliver up to $7,500 per individual to help them grow in their life through vocational training. The other opportunity that we offer is community guidance, right? So no one recovers in a bubble. Each of us have communities, that we're a part of. And the more engaged we are, the more successful we are within these communities. As far as traction goes, I've secured a pilot with a jail. I have 100 inmates in this population and 25 staff, allowing me to tackle mental health on both sides. So with that said, the plan is to scale from 1,000 and 2,000 members. I've secured the partnerships to scale up to 2K. With the 2,000 members in hand, my co-founder is a former Humana CFO. We are able to negotiate a value-based contracts with MCOs. I'll pause there.
Okay. So I love that you have traction and you've included that. I want to know more about like what are you looking for, whether it's funding, whether it's mentorship, or whatever that case might be. Also, what is it that you're creating? Is it a mobile app or is it a web app? Maybe you mentioned that, but it wasn't very clear.
Yeah.
So it's a mobile app.
It's a mobile app for the end user, but if you're a drug court or you're a treatment center, you have a desktop app, obviously, because you need a little bit more functionality in terms of creating the content.
Okay. The only thing like I would want to look at later on, because right now like you're in the early stage, is the retention rate and actually how much are people using the app. Because my biggest fear with something like this is people get excited in the beginning and then they may not use it regularly. And I'm saying this out of personal experience. I have the Headway app for reading books, and like I was very excited for a week, but it keeps nudging me, but it's not working on me. So like there has to be something else it needs to do to really motivate me to like spend 15 minutes a day doing that. But on a side note, send me an email. I know of she's one of my clients. She's a therapist for prisoners, and she has tie-ups with like she goes to these jails to do assessment and things like that. So she might be a good contact for you.
That'd be great. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Merve, I'm sorry. How do I pronounce your name?
Hey, before Merve goes,
Sorry.
Sneha, how do you go to a different breakout room?
So you in the bottom you'll see like breakout rooms, and
I
then
don't
you
see
can.
it.
Where do you want to go?
Oh, anyone, since there's a long line here.
Yep. Let's see. Let me put you in this one. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Or
Okay, so should I start?
yes. And please, how do I pronounce your name?
It's Marve, like Marvelous, basically. And I'm founder of Marvelous. Okay,
All right.
so let's begin. Yeah. So, hi everyone. While I was working for Google, I saw how powerful genuine connections can be in building communities. Yet urban loneliness persists even in our connected world. Marvelous turns online followers into real life communities through AI powered interactive events, private experiences, and community led commerce. AI helps creators to understand their audiences, suggest event ideas, and automate engagement, making deeper connections effortlessly. And the creator economy is worth more than $100 billion, but only 90% of creators struggle to truly engage their fans. Our live MVP is on test flight and has already boosted engagement by 30% at events like our Cheers dinner event series. We are focused on scaling cities like San Francisco, LA, and Istanbul. And we are raising an angel round to fuel Marvelous growth as the go-to platform for connecting communities and brands. If our vision resonates with you, let's discuss how we can do this journey together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I feel the ask was missing. I'm going to mute you. I'm getting feedback. Okay. So I feel that the ask in general like is missing for most of the founders here. And again, you'll get different feedbacks from different mentors and advisors, but like I'm a marketer. So in my mind, I feel that every opportunity can be a business opportunity. And that is why if you don't put yourself out there, you don't even know what to expect. Like I don't even know what you want. And maybe I have something which can help you. So always add like a small ask, and it need not be money always. Other than that, I felt you were reading. Is that true? Okay. So you're going to make mistakes when you don't read, and it's okay. But that creates more passion. And I have worked with founders, and even if you look at like a lot of pitches, not everyone is fluent or not everyone says the perfect word. It's the passion that goes through. And investors invest in founders and not the idea. And this is like this is the truth in the industry. Like it's you they will invest in because your startup will change, you'll pivot and everything will happen. So I need to see that. Like I saw that even when you were reading, but like imagine when you're not reading what you can do. And that also like your tone and pitch becomes very monotonous in the whole process. I love that you have traction. So the moment you don't read and start talking about your wins, your facial expression will change. You'll be more excited about those numbers. And that is something which I'll carry forward with me. So that is why like doing these things, record yourself, look in the mirror, and that will just help you fine tune your entire pitch. But overall, I feel like the ask was missing, and just wordsmithing a few things to make it more crisp is what I would say. And it's difficult to like pinpoint exactly because like my focus was more on listening to you versus like pinpointing, okay, you don't need this word and you don't need that word. But we can work through it. But overall, I think like for the first pitch, like first time you pitching me, I understood what you're trying to do, and that's a good starting point.
Thank you so much.
Sure. All right. Vijay, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Let me start. So in developing countries like India, healthcare providers in suburbs and rural areas have accessibility issues on high cost medical equipment. So because of the high upfront costs and also like limited financing options. Meanwhile, medical equipment dealers, they face significant cash flow risks when offering the open credit to these providers. Hey everyone, I'm Vijay Rajshekharan, co-founder of EQB. EQB is a web platform that connects medical equipment dealers, healthcare providers, and everyday investors. Clinics and hospitals can access high-cost medical equipment through affordable lease-to-own options, while the investors get the chance to own a share of that medical equipment. And as healthcare providers pay for the equipment over time, investors receive dividends for the whole loan tenure, turning that investment into a steady cash flow dividend. My co-founder is an equipment financier in equipment finance broker in India, who is in this business for quite some time. Our traction is around 3 medical equipment dealers are ready to list some of their equipments, and 10 doctors have shown interest in leasing through us. We had built a POC app and demoed to prospects. There is also some high net worth individuals who have shown interest, but they want to like see some kind of viability first before they can invest some high amount on this. Join us and own a fraction of medical equipment and make a global impact on healthcare accessibility. That's it.
Okay. So are you, is India going to be your first market for this?
Right, yeah.
Okay. You need to mention that.
Okay.
That is your market segment. I kind of figured it, but it may not be very clear. The second thing is you're giving a lot of details in terms of how an investor can gain out of it and all of that. I don't think that is necessary. I feel the important thing is like the problem you're solving is providing healthcare equipment where needed, and finance being the cost, being the problem here, and you have a solution for that. Now, obviously there'll be a gain. If someone is investing, there's going to be a gain. So you don't need to like mention unless asked. Instead of that, focus more on, like your ask was there was no ask. Also before that, you don't need to say that there was interest and then they are asking for like, don't end at a negative note. It was simple, there was interest. There always is a constraint attached with an interest. Like even with investment, there is a constraint. They will take percentage for the investment. So just the fact that people are interested is a good thing. So focus more on the wins, and not on the negative, because like that kind of threw me off. And especially the way you presented it. Because you had good wins before, and then suddenly you're saying this at the end of it, at the end of your pitch, not even like in the middle or something. So those are like that's my thought. At the end of the pitch, I felt this is more like you're kind of creating like an investment firm, and because you're just giving money for the equipment. Like that's my understanding based on the pitch. Now, if there's more to it, then you need to really refine this. Otherwise, it seems like a brokerage business to me.
Yeah, it's almost like a REIT, like real estate investment trust. Right. Yeah. Similar to
Yeah.
that. Maybe I should mention. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe you can send me like an email with your entire pitch in a written format, and then I can better understand or like move things around to make this more crisp. Yeah. Yeah, I think, and also like when you're looking for mentors, right? Because you're looking at Indian market, like make sure you are choosing and talking to mentors who have that experience, and not just Indian mentors, but also any developing country, because this solution may apply to other developing countries as well.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Sneha. Yeah.
Okay. So Nikki and Danielle, I am sorry, but I have to run. I have a 19-month-old daughter and I am already 15 minutes late to her. But let's do this. Send me an email and we can schedule office hours. I don't have anything in the portal yet, so I'll open that up. But I want to give the both of you priorities. So send me an email so that I can listen to it. And then next Thursday, just make sure that you are in my room. I'll make sure that both of you are in my room first. And then you can go and pitch to the other mentors, okay? But I really have to run. So do you want me to
Sounds
put
great.
you
I
into
appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. Do you want me to put you in another room or you're done?
I'm good for the evening. Thank you. Yeah, it's 11:30 at night where I am. So yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Take care. Bye. All right. You're on mute, Irvi.
Was asking, is there anybody else to go?
Are these two done with you?
Yeah,
Do you?
yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, Nikki and Sujit did definitely pitch with me.
Okay. All right. I think like we've taken up enough of your time today.
Okay, all right, great. It's good.
How was the experience for you?
It's been good. It's been good. I think some good ideas, and some of them are really hitting the mark, right? But I think overall, I think this 1 minute pitch is very useful for the founders, and I think something to be emphasized to them, because I just come with the scars of the battleground, that this 1 minute pitch really helps you, because many a time, especially the VCs are trying to qualify deals and they got humongous a number of volumes coming their side, and they're always trying to qualify based on a top line, right? So the top line has to be really good. So that's your 1 minute pitch, right? So whether you're sending a text to somebody, WhatsApp to somebody, email to somebody, or just speaking to somebody in a networking mixer, that 1 minute thing really makes a hell of a difference, right? So I think that's why this is super powerful, and I speak from experience. So many
Yeah.
people, Sneha, I could feel that they have a good idea and whatnot, but they need to really get that thing right. And one thing I did catch, Sneha, which is something worth saying, is why me, right? That's a very important question to answer. If there is a good, organic, authentic question to answer in something, why me? I think that's something that I felt it was missing in almost all the pitches. I heard that in one pitch, but other than that, everybody else missed that piece.
Yeah. No, that's great feedback. And I feel that every founder has a very different story to say. And they keep struggling in terms of what to add and what to like eliminate. So with different mentors, they get to listen to so many things. We have like a much bigger version of this. So on the 30th of October, we have like a mentor idea review where they are going to present with a slide deck and they'll give like 3-minute pitches. If your schedule permits, and if you would want to join back, then we would love to have you there. And that'll just be judging. Like there's no presentations. It'll just be 3 minutes, and similar to this, there'll be different groups, and they'll come prepared with like their deck. For the first time, it'll be with a deck for them.
No, absolutely. I would love to join if I'm here local, but please do
Yes.
invite me for that. I would love to be there. And this is a mutual process, right? I'm also learning quite a bit, and it's always inspiring to see some good ideas, right? But I'm an operator, as you know, Sneha, so I'm more pragmatist than slideware. So
Yes. But thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
thank you, all of you, and thank you, Nikki and Sujit, and good luck. Joanna, bye.
All right, I'm going to log off. Sujit, if you want to hop into another room, feel free to do it, okay?
Hi, folks. We should be closing now. It's already pretty late.
Thanks, Victor. I will follow up on that conversation, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll write here in your some notes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Good night.
No, thank you.
Victor, if you're still around, I would love to